The black void of space stretched endlessly, a silent ocean dotted with cold stars. Through this darkness, the research ship Aurora drifted, its white hull glowing faintly against the deep black. Inside, the crew was relaxed, their work routine. They were on a quiet survey mission near the edge of the Orion Nebula, charting radiation patterns and scanning for mineral-rich asteroids. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. That's why the sudden sound of the ship's proximity alarm sent a sharp wave of tension through the control room. Captain Elias Turner looked up from his console, brow furrowing. The sound wasn't for an asteroid or a ship, it was for a signal. Not just any signal, but a distress beacon. Its frequency was strange, distorted, and yet there was something deliberate in the pattern. It's almost like a voice calling for help from the far side of reality. Lieutenant Mara Singh quickly isolated the source. "Sir, this is coming from Moon 77 in the Helion cluster," she reported, her voice tight. Turner frowned. Moon 77 was uninhabited. No colonies, no stations, no reason for anyone to be there. Then Mara added something that made the entire room go silent. The beacon. It's not calling the Galactic Council. It's not calling nearby military ships. It's broadcasting a message directly addressed to humans. Only humans. The captain stared at her. "That's impossible." Beacons aren't species-specific. Mara shook her head. "This one is." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. This part of space was known to be close to Rovath territory, home to one of the most dangerous predator species in the galaxy. The Rovath were apex hunters, six-legged beasts with blade-like limbs and jaws strong enough to crush steel. No human had ever been near their young and lived to tell about it. And yet here was a signal, apparently sent by them, summoning humans to a desolate moon. Despite the danger, Turner gave the order to change course. Curiosity, duty, and something else, a faint instinct, pulled them forward.
Hours later, Aurora
descended through the thin, dusty atmosphere of Moon 77. Its surface was a wasteland of jagged rock and frozen ridges, lit by the faint glow of a distant star. They landed near the coordinates of the beacon and stepped out into the icy air. What they saw made them freeze in place. Across the rocky plain, dozens of large leathery eggs lay in shallow nests, glowing faintly from within. Some were cracked, open, revealing small scaly hatchlings with sharp claws and shimmering eyes. These were unmistakably Rovath young, dangerous even at birth, or so the stories claimed. But the hatchlings didn't attack. They didn't even hiss. Instead, they stumbled toward the humans, chirping in strange high-pitched tones. One even rubbed against the captain's leg like a friendly animal. "This doesn't make sense," whispered Dr. Kenzo, the ship's biologist. "Rovath hatchlings should see us as prey. They should." He trailed off as one of the small creatures climbed onto his shoulder, curling around his neck as if seeking warmth. Mara bent down, looking into the wide, unblinking eyes of another hatchling. "It's like they know us," she murmured. The team was still trying to make sense of this, when a deep, resonant voice echoed in their heads, not through their ears, but directly in their minds. The words were slow and heavy, carrying an ancient, "Wait, you are the only ones who will not betray them." The crew exchanged alarmed glances. Telepathy. The Rovath were known to communicate mind to mind, but only with their own kind. Hearing a Rovath voice in human thoughts was unheard of. Before anyone could speak, a holographic projection shimmered into existence above the nests. The image was of a massive Rovath adult, its armored body scarred from countless battles. Alien's eyes burned with a strange mix of pride and sorrow. "Humans," the voice boomed inside their skulls, "our enemies close in. We cannot protect the next generation. They will be hunted, tortured, or sold to those who wish our extinction. Only you can guard them. Only you can be trusted." The captain stepped forward. "Why us? Why humans?" But the image was already fading, the aliens' last words lingering like an echo in their minds. "Because you are what they remember." The crew stood in silence, the cold wind sweeping across the barren plain. Something was wrong here. Something big. This wasn't just about protecting alien hatchlings, it was about a secret buried deep in the shared history of two species. But whatever the truth was, the moment they accepted this task, they would be stepping into the center of a war they didn't fully understand. And somewhere out there, enemies were already on their way. The captain looked at his crew, then at the small, trusting eyes of the creatures gathered around them. "We take them," he said quietly. "We take them, and we keep them safe. Matter what." Above, in the cold sky, a dark silhouette moved, too distant to make out, but moving closer. The first threat had already found them. The game had begun. The Aurora drifted deeper into the nebula, its hull shuddering under the relentless pull of shifting gravity currents. Outside, clouds of plasma swirled in eerie colors, violet tendrils twisting into shapes that almost looked alive. Every so often, a flash of light illuminated the void, revealing jagged rocks and debris tumbling silently through the haze. The crew worked in tense silence, every eye fixed on their instruments in the cargo bay. The Rovath hatchlings huddled together, their hum now a soft, rhythmic pulse. Dr. Kenzo monitored them closely, recording every fluctuation in their energy. Output. He had never seen anything like it. Their bodies seemed to be absorbing ambient plasma from the nebula and converting it. It was almost intentional. Mara's voice broke the silence. "Captain, we're not alone." Turner's head snapped toward her, Keth. She shook her head. "No, something bigger. Mass reading is off the charts, and it's moving parallel to us." Kenzo leaned over the console, frowning at the readings. "That can't be a ship. It's too massive. More like a station." Or his words cut off as a shadow loomed in the viewports. An immense structure emerged, part organic, part machine. Spires of bone-like material jutted from its surface, connected by metallic veins that pulsed with blue light. It was ancient, alien, and impossibly large. The crew stared in awe and dread. Turner's voice was barely above a whisper. It's not in any star charts I've ever seen." Then, as if sensing their gaze, the structure shifted. Panels opened along its surface, releasing hundreds of small, dart-like vessels that began to circle the Aurora. "Unknown contacts closing fast," Mara reported, her voice tightening. "They're not firing yet." Before Turner could respond, a transmission crackled through the comms. The voice was deep and layered, like multiple tones speaking at once. "Human vessel. Carry the young of the Rovath. You will follow." The connection ended abruptly. The smaller craft formed a loose corridor, guiding the Aurora toward a massive docking port in the alien structure. Kenzo's hands trembled slightly on the console. "Captain, if we go in there, we may not come back." Turner didn't look. "Away from the looming port? If we don't, the Keth will catch us. And if this thing wanted us dead, we'd already be dust." The Aurora eased into the docking bay. The inside was even stranger than the exterior walls, made of shifting metallic plates, corridors that rearranged themselves like a living organism. The bay sealed behind them with a low, resonant THRUM. As the crew disembarked, they were met by towering figures. Their bodies were a blend of sleek armor and living tissue, their faces hidden behind ornate masks. Each carried a staff tipped with a glowing crystal. The air around them shimmered faintly, as if reality itself bent at their presence. One of the masked beings stepped forward. "You are the ones chosen by the Rovath." Turner glanced at his crew, then back at the alien. "Chosen? For what?" The alien tilted its head slightly. "To be keepers. Actors of the young until the awakening." Kenzo stepped forward cautiously. "Why us? Why humans?" The alien's mask reflected the nebula's light in strange patterns. "'Cause only your kind can shield them from what hunts them. You're immune to the call." The words meant nothing to the crew, but the way the alien said them carried a weight they could feel in their bones. Before they could ask more, the hatchlings in the cargo bay began to hum again, louder. More urgent, the alien turned sharply toward the sound. It began sooner than expected. Without warning, the walls of the docking bay lit up with streams of data holographic images flashing too quickly for human eyes to follow. Outside, deep within the nebula, something vast stirred. The entire station seemed to react to it, as though bracing for an incoming tide. Mara's voice was tight with unease. "Captain, whatever this awakening is, I think we're about to find out the hard way." The alien leader raised its staff, and a deep tone reverberated through the bay. "Then you must decide quickly, humans. Stand with us, or be swept away." Turner didn't have to think long. The choice had already been made the moment they took in the hatchlings. "We stand." The alien inclined its head. "And prepare yourselves. The hunters are already here." The walls of the alien station trembled as if struck by some unseen force. Lights along the corridors flickered, and a deep vibration rolled through the air, a sound more felt than heard. The Rovath hatchlings pressed together in their containment cradle, their once gentle hum now turning into a piercing, discordant wail that echoed through the bay. Captain Turner gripped the edge of a console, his eyes locked on the alien leader. "What's happening?" The tall, masked figure turned its head slowly toward him. "The call has begun." Dr. Kenzo's brow furrowed. "You've said that before. What is it?" The alien's voice carried a strange heaviness, as if each word was a burden. "The call is not a signal you can detect with your machines. It is a psychic tide, a song older than stars. It hunts the Rovath young, luring them into the mouths of those who birthed it." Mara's eyes narrowed. "And who or what birthed it?" The alien stepped closer, and for the first time a faint crack appeared in the mask, revealing a glimpse of dark, almost iridescent skin beneath. "The Devourers. They are not life as you understand it. They are hunger given form. Call is how they feed, drawing the Rovath young across light years into their waiting jaws. It is a compulsion no mind can resist, except yours." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Kenzo spoke first. "You're saying humans are immune too? A galaxy-wide psychic lure?" "Yes," the alien said simply. "And because of this, you can carry the young where none of us can go." Before Turner could respond, the station shuddered again, harder this time. Through the bay's open shields, the nebula's swirling mists began to twist unnaturally, forming spirals that pulsed with an eerie crimson glow. Out beyond the haze, something massive moved, its outline barely visible, like a shadow in deep water. Mara's hands clenched into fists. "That thing's bigger than a moon," Kenzo swallowed. "That's the Devourer. How do you fight something like that?" The alien's gaze shifted toward the hatchlings. "You don't fight it, you flee. You hide the young until the call passes. But it grows stronger with every cycle. And this time, it will not pass quickly." Another alien figure approached, speaking rapidly in a language that twisted through the air like a sharp wind. The leader turned back to Turner. "They have breached the outer spires. The small ones are already here." As if to punctuate the words, a sudden screech tore through the docking bay's atmosphere. From the shadows above, spindly shapes began. Two drop creatures with elongated limbs and gaping, circular maws lined with rotating teeth. Their bodies shimmered faintly, as though halfway out of phase with reality. The first one landed near the hatchlings. Turner didn't hesitate. He drew his sidearm and fired, the blast punching through its semi-solid form and sending it skittering back. But more followed, climbing along the walls and ceiling, ignoring the crew, and heading straight for the Rovath young. "Get them out of here." Turner shouted. Kenzo and Mara rushed to the cradle, unsealing its magnetic clamps. The alien warriors moved with fluid precision, crystal-tipped staves emitting bursts of energy that tore the Devourer's flesh apart in sizzling arcs. But for every one they cut down, two more emerged from the shifting shadows as the crew fought their way toward the Aurora. The alien leader's voice boomed over the chaos. "Go now. The Devourer's heart is near, and if it takes the young, all will be lost." Turner caught one last glimpse of the leader before the bay door sealed behind them, a towering silhouette framed by the crimson glow. Staff raised high. As alien warriors closed ranks around him, the Aurora launched from the station into the thick of the nebula's glowing storm. Alarms blared as gravitational surges threatened to tear the ship apart. Behind them, the alien station's lights dimmed, its massive structure vanishing into the mists as if it had never been there. In the cockpit, Mara's voice was tight. "They're still following us. dozens of them. Kenzo glanced back at the hatchlings, who were trembling but no longer wailing. Whatever the call is, it's not touching them while they're with us. That's why the devourers are so desperate. Turner's jaw tightened. Then we keep moving, and we make damn sure they never get close again. But deep in the storm behind them, the crimson spiral pulsed once more brighter, stronger like the heartbeat of something that had just found their scent. The Aurora's engines roared to life, kicking up a cloud of dust from Moon 77's rocky surface. Inside the cargo bay, the crew worked quickly, placing the strange Rovath hatchlings into containment pods lined with thermal padding. The young creatures were surprisingly calm, their large eyes following the humans' every move. Some even reached out with small, clawed hands, grasping at sleeves or curling up against the warmth of human bodies. It was unsettling. The galaxy knew the Rovath as merciless hunters, yet these small beings seemed to carry no fear only. Trust. Captain Elias Turner stood by the loading ramp, scanning the horizon. The dark shape in the sky was now closer, its outline clearer against the dim light of the distant star. It wasn't a natural object, it was a ship. And not just any ship. Turner recognized the jagged silhouette immediately. A Keth Syndicate raider. These pirates were infamous for hunting endangered alien species and selling them to the highest bidder. If they knew about the hatchlings, the Aurora wouldn't just be in danger. They would be hunted across the galaxy. Seal the bay, Turner ordered sharply. We're leaving now. Mara Singh ran to the controls, her fingers flying over the console. Sir, they're accelerating toward us. They'll be in firing range in 90 seconds. The Aurora lifted off, its landing. Gear folding into place. The crew strapped in as the ship angled upward, engines straining. The hatchlings made small, high-pitched sounds, almost like they could sense the danger outside. In the cockpit, Dr. Kenzo appeared pale. Captain, you realize what this means, right? Someone told the Keth we'd be here? This wasn't chance. They knew exactly when and where to come. Turner's jaw tightened. Then we're already in the middle of something much bigger than we thought. The Keth ship fired first, 2 bolts of green plasma that streaked through the darkness. The Aurora rolled hard to the right, the shots missing by meters. Alarms blared. Mara pushed the engines to maximum, the hull groaning as the ship dove toward the thick debris field at the moon's edge. Chunks of rock the size of buildings spun lazily through space, relics of some ancient planetary collision. The field was a death trap for inexperienced pilots, but Turner had flown through worse. He weaved between tumbling asteroids, using their bulk as cover. The Keth followed, but their larger ship struggled to match the Aurora's agility. Captain, Mara said, her voice low and tense. They're not just chasing us, they're broadcasting a signal. I think they're calling for reinforcements. Kenzo swore under his breath. Reinforcements? For what? We're one ship. Turner didn't answer. He knew why. This wasn't just a random rescue mission anymore. These hatchlings, these fragile, trusting creatures were valuable in ways the crew didn't yet understand. The Rovath had said only humans could be trusted. But why? And why would that trust be worth risking an interstellar hunt? They finally broke free of the asteroid field, but the reprieve was short-lived. 2 more blips appeared on the scanner small. Fast attack craft cutting off their escape route. They're hurting us, Mara said grimly, trying to push us toward the nebula. Turner's eyes narrowed. The Orion Nebula was a region of swirling plasma storms and unpredictable gravity wells. Navigating it was suicide without precise mapping. If the Keth forced them in, their chances of survival dropped to near zero. But as Turner stared at the shifting scanner display, another thought formed. Maybe the nebula could be their salvation. The violent storms could hide them from pursuit, at least for a while. If they could survive the entry, Helm set a course for the nebula, he ordered. Mara hesitated. Sir, are you sure? That's exactly where they don't. Think we'll go? Turner cut in. Do it? The Aurora surged forward, heading straight for the swirling, luminous cloud ahead. The Keth ships followed, closing in from all sides. In the cargo bay, the hatchlings pressed against the transparent walls of their pods, watching the chaos with unblinking eyes. Then something strange happened. The temperature in the bay dropped sharply, frost forming on the metal edges of the SCE pods. The hatchlings began to hum a low, resonant sound that vibrated through the entire ship. In the cockpit, instruments flickered, the shields flared, then stabilized, stronger than before. Kenzo stared at the readings in disbelief.
Captain?
The hatchlings are generating some kind of energy field. It's reinforcing our shields. Turner didn't understand it, but he wasn't about to question a miracle. Hold it steady. We're going in. The Aurora plunged into the glowing chaos of the nebula, plasma storms crackling across the hull. Behind them, the Keth ships followed, till a sudden gravity surge slammed one of them into a massive rock fragment, shattering it in a burst of fire. The others hesitated, falling back as the nebula swallowed the Aurora whole. Inside, the crew was silent. The only sound the hum of the hatchlings and the roar of the storms outside. Turner glanced back toward the cargo bay through the security feed. The small creatures looked calm, almost purposeful. And that's when he realized they weren't just cargo. They were the reason the Rovath had called for humans. These hatchlings had power the galaxy would kill for. And now, whether they liked it or not, the crew of the Aurora had become the only barrier between that power and the predators closing in. From every corner of the stars, somewhere deep in the nebula, something massive moved, larger than any ship, its outline faint against the glowing clouds. It was waiting. Watching, the captain felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The Keth weren't the only ones hunting tonight. The Aurora tore through the swirling haze of the nebula, its engines screaming against the gravitational riptides. Each wave of crimson light made the hull groan like it was seconds from breaking apart. Mara wrestled with the controls, her jaw set, eyes darting between the navigation display and the roiling storm outside. These currents are unstable. If we keep this speed, the ship's frame won't hold. Turner didn't look away from the viewport. Out there in the thick boiling mist, the shadows of the Devourers swam like predators in deep water, closing in on the ship's flanks. Kenzo's voice was tight. We can't slow down. The moment we do, they'll surround us. They're not chasing, they're hurting us. Mara's hands froze mid-motion. Hurting us where? The answer came in the form of a sudden burst of light ahead of Jagged. Tear in space itself. Edges glowed like molten steel, and beyond it was nothing but pitch-black emptiness. The Devourers were driving the Aurora straight toward it. Gravitational sink, Kenzo said, his voice grim. That's not just empty space, it's a collapse point. Anything that goes in won't come out. Turner swore under his breath. Options. There's one, Mara said reluctantly. A deep slipstream along the nebula's northern arm. It's unstable, and I can't chart it in time. But if we ride it perfectly, it'll throw us clear of the sink. And if we miss? Turner asked. She glanced at him. We get torn apart. It's faster than you can say bad idea before. Turner could decide. A transmission crackled over the Kumlo alien, and pulsing with strange harmonics. Kenzo's eyes widened. It's not them. It's someone else. A new shape emerged from the Faga, massive, jagged vessel, its hull shaped like interlocking black scales. Lights rippled along its surface in rhythmic patterns. Turner recognized the silhouette from the briefing files. Zorathi warship, he muttered. They're supposed to shoot humans on sight, the com signal repeated, this time clearer, and Kenzo translated on the fly. They're offering us shelter, but they say we have to drop shields and let them tow us in, no questions asked. Mara gave a humorless laugh. Sure, let's just turn off our only defense while we're being chased by extra-dimensional nightmares. Brilliant plan. Another ripple passed through the nebula, and the Aurora systems flickered. The Devourers surged forward, their semi-solid forms gliding through the storm. Their circular maws snapping hungrily, Turner's gaze shifted between the glowing collapse point ahead, the deadly slipstream to their right, and the looming Zorathi warship. 3 paths. It's all dangerous. If we trust the Zorathi, we could be trading one predator for another, Kenzo warned. If we take the slipstream, it's one wrong move, and we're dust, Mara added. And if we keep going toward that sink, Turner. Finished. We don't have a ship anymore. Devourers were less than a kilometer out now. The bodies rippled with the same crimson pulse as the nebula, like they were drawing power from it. One lunged, phasing through a wave of gas and striking the Aurora's aft shields, which flared bright under the impact. "Decision time, Captain," Mara said, her knuckles white on the controls. Turner closed his eyes for half a heartbeat, then opened them. "Helm turn us toward the Zarathi. Shields down the moment we're in range. If they wanted us dead, we'd already be floating debris." The Aurora banked hard, the inertial dampeners straining to keep up. The Zarathi vessel grew larger in the viewport, its hull shifting like living armor. As the Aurora dropped shields, the alien ship's massive magnetic grapplers latched on, pulling them in with terrifying speed. Behind them, the Devourers reached, out with claws of shimmering shadow. Just meters away, and then the nebula around them exploded with light. The Zarathi ship's hull unfolded, revealing rows of crystalline emitters that pulsed in unison. A shockwave rippled outward, passing through the Aurora harmlessly, but striking the Devourers like a physical blow. Their forms twisted and writhed before dissolving back into the mist. The Aurora was pulled into the alien hangar, sealed away. From the storm outside, the Zarathi commander stepped forward, towering an insectoid, its mandibles clicking in a slow rhythm. When it finally spoke, its voice was deep and deliberate. "You carry what we swore to protect. But the call is changing. Now it hunts more than just the young." The Zarathi commander's words hung in the air like a blade over Turner's head. "What do you mean, it hunts more than the young?" he asked, his voice low but tense. The commander tilted its head, the clicking of its mandibles slowing. For thousands of your years, the call was a whisper in the darker hunger that only touched the newborns of certain races. That is why so many entrusted their offspring to your kind. Humans are silent to the call, immune. You kept the young safe because the call could not hear them through you." Kenzo frowned. "That's why dangerous species gave us their children." "Because we're immune?" "Not immune," the Zarathi corrected. "Invisible." Mara's voice was skeptical. "Invisible to what?" "Those things out there?" The commander's multifaceted eyes reflected the ship's lights like black jewels. "The Devourers are not the call. They are only its hands." Silence spread through the Aurora's bridge. Turner felt the temperature drop, though he wasn't sure if it was the ship or his own blood running cold. "Then what is the call?" The commander leaned closer. "Ancient mind. It sleeps between the folds of the universe. It hungers for life. But not just any life. It hungers for patterns it can use to grow. Humans have no pattern it can use," Kenzo said slowly. Had the commander corrected again? "Something has changed. 2 cycles ago, we detected the first breach. A human colony gone overnight, the call had found them. And it did not just consume them. It kept pieces." Turner felt his stomach twist. "Pieces of what?" The commander's mandibles clicked sharply. "Of you, your minds, your instincts, your scent in the dark." Mara's hands tightened into fists. "So now we're not invisible anymore?" "No," the commander said. "Now you are the brightest beacon of all." A shudder ran through the Aurora's frame. The alien hangar's shields flickered as something massive slammed against them. A deep, resonant sound rolled through the walls, like the groan of metal being twisted apart. Kenzo ran to the viewport and froze. "It's back." Through the shimmering blue of the hangar shields, the Devourers gathered dozens of them. But this time, they didn't move like hunting animals. They moved like soldiers. They formed a ring around the Zarathi vessel, their bodies pulsing in perfect unison, as if responding to the same heartbeat. The commander's voice was grim. "They will not stop now. They will tear apart this ship, this system, this galaxy if they must. Because you, human, are carrying something the call wants." Turner turned sharply. "I'm not carrying anything," the commander cut him off. "Not an object, a signal. It is inside you now. One of you brought it aboard. That is why they chased you into the storm." Mara's voice dropped to a whisper. "And if they get it?" The Zarathi looked at her for a long moment. "Then there will be nowhere left in the universe for any species to hide their young, not even with humans." Another impact rattled the hangar. The lights dimmed. Outside, the devourers' bodies began to merge, their forms blending into something larger, darker, and infinitely worse. The commander's mandibles clicked in a pattern that sounded almost like regret. We have one chance, but it will require a sacrifice. Turner stepped forward, eyes locked on the aliens. Who sacrifice? The Zorathi's gaze shifted from Turner to Kenzo, then to Mara, and then it spoke 4 words that froze all of them where they stood. The carrier must die.